I wanted to talk about this idea of a lobster. It may sound strange. Why do I want to come to you today and talk about a lobster? But it's very relevant when you are trying to grow either in your business or your career, this idea of a lobster. So I don't know if you know or not, but lobsters, as they grow, their shell doesn't grow with them. So what happens is they go down to the bottom of the ocean and they have to wriggle it out and they come out of their shell. It's interesting. Actually, you can Google it. It's kind of interesting to watch. But they go through this couple month period where they don't have a shell while they're growing the new one, and they're completely vulnerable and just exposed, so to speak. And what happens is a lot of times in our business, when we're growing, or our career, when you want something more than you currently have, we do the same thing metaphorically. We like strive for something new. We can see it, we want it, we set it into motion, but then we go through this period where we feel very vulnerable, very exposed, very uncomfortable. And during that period of discomfort, it's very easy to change course or go back to what you were doing. And it felt important for me to come and just say that when you feel that discomfort, that's not the time to stop what you're doing or think that you've heard wrong or think that you need to make a change. That is the time to go out in nature, go for walks, play when you can, go do something crazy like zip line or climb a rock wall or swim in the ocean, whatever for you is just going to take your mind off it. Because if you can feel that discomfort and just let it settle, let it sit, and really just breathe into it. Meditation's another great way just to spend, 15 minutes every morning, or a half hour is even better, of just quiet time to let it just breathe. I mean, you have to think the lobster would really want a shell, but if it doesn't release the old shell, it can't get the new one, and actually it probably won't make it. So a lot of times when we're stepping into our career, especially if it feels like a calling, it feels very important. And then we take those steps and then we feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? Are people going to read what I wrote? What's going to happen? And you feel very uncomfortable. So the reason this is so much on my mind is I had an example from a couple weeks ago. I have been trying to figure out a way to say what I do on my website in such a way that it's super clear. The writer in me tends to be very wordy, and I want to explain everything in really great detail, but I understand that people don't have time to sit and read from A to Z to figure out what is this person talking about. So all summer I kind of sat with it and put it out to the universe that I really want to be able to have someone come to my site and they can just see, okay, this is who this person is, this is what she does, and basically this is her message. Well, one day, maybe 2 weeks ago, it just came to me, and I spent maybe 3 really intense days working on my website, moving things around, just putting more white space, cutting things out, eliminating any words that didn't fit. And when all was said and done, I felt really good about it. Maybe for 2 or 3 days after, it was almost just like, oh, it's exactly what I want. Like, I couldn't have pictured it any better. Oh my God, it's exactly what I want. Well, as time went on, I started thinking, what did I write? Oh my God, what's on there? What does it say? And I would go back and I would read it and go, no, that's exactly what I say. It's what I want to say. It's correct. There's nothing wrong with it. It's how I want it to look. And I realized that I was entering this period of discomfort because it is exactly how I want it to be. It says what I want it to say. For the first time in a long time, I don't feel I need to change anything or update anything. And that feels actually really uncomfortable because now it's the easy part to just write blog posts, to drive traffic, to just put it out there. And I think that the place I spent so much time was well, how am I going to explain it? And now that part, it's over. And so I need to breathe in and just settle in. I've kind of committed to myself that I'm not going to change the wording or do anything on there that changes the content for at least a couple months, and just let that part of me, the part that's getting rid of my shell, just be, and then let the new part come in. So if you're feeling that, actually, I see it a lot with my clients. They get really excited, they're going to move forward, and then maybe a week later they check in, or I check in with them, and they feel panicked. And it's totally normal because it is something that makes you feel like you're just exposed and you're vulnerable. You're shifting into the unknown, you're leaving what feels comfortable and safe for something that feels unpredictable and uncertain. And that's what makes it risky, but that's what makes it where I feel like we're really living our true self. When you follow that guidance, where you take the risk, that's where we really separate the wheat from the chaff. I think that's the expression, or the cream rises to the top. The people that commit, that get through that discomfort, that let the new shell grow, that's the ones you see rise, or you at least see that, oh my gosh, that person is really taking ownership for who they are. They really are their authentic self. They feel true. You feel like yourself in every area of your life, not just one or the other, but it requires feeling uncomfortable. The good news is when you know about it, like when I recognized, okay, I'm in that phase, it became very easy. It's like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to work on other things. I had some ebooks in mind. I'll just work on those. And I'm just not going to touch what I've done and just let it be. For better or for worse, it's out there, and that is what it is. So I would love to hear from you if you are in the lobster without its shell phase. You can comment below. And also, I have a closed Facebook group. I'll put the link. I'm happy for you to come in there and just say, like, yes, I feel it too. Because sometimes just owning it and having people support you, I mean, it's everything. If you know other people are going through it, then it's like, okay, well, we're in this together. We're uncomfortable, but then, in a couple weeks or a month or so, you'll look back and think, why was that such a big deal? That's almost always what happens, right? You look back and you think, that wasn't even a big deal. Why was I so upset? Why did it feel so intense? Well, it's just change, and change can feel intense, even if it's a baby step, and even if it's something small like wording your website so that it's more clear. Really, it's like my words now feel like such a stripped down version that it was like putting a stark naked version of my website out there for people to see, when really, if you went to look at it, you would probably say, there's nothing about that feels that way, but to me it did. So if you're in that phase, I'd love to hear about it, and I would love for you just to know that that probably is going to happen when you set a new desire, a new outcome, and you decide that's where you're headed. Then you're going to have to go through some growing pains, but those growing pains can totally be supported, and they won't feel as intense when you just breathe into it. Go out and play, let it go, do something else. It's not that you're forgetting it or not paying attention to it. You're just going, okay, I'm uncomfortable, and I'm just going to let it be. I'm not going to push it away, change course. I'm just going to let it be. So that's it. Hopefully you'll comment below, and I'll see you on my site.